We've all heard about the classic cat-and-mouse game between the law and the suspect, but what happens when the tables turn and the teenager under scrutiny thinks they've got the upper hand? Today, we dive into the thrilling world of criminal interrogation, where unexpected twists and turns leave even the most seasoned detectives scratching their heads. How does a seemingly naive teenager manage to outwit the detectives in a high-stakes interrogation? What are the key tactics employed by the suspect to navigate through the intricate web of questioning and evidence? Well, let's find out. But before we get into this case, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. DaBaby, aka Jonathan Kirk, the rapper, really outsmarted the cops when they brought him in for an alleged assault and robbery at a nightclub. They sat him down for questioning, thinking they had him, but it turns out he totally flipped the script on them. He basically made them look stupid and showed everyone how you should act in this kind of situation.
What's your full name? Come on.
We just want to get it for you. This is just a formality. Just tell name, date of birth, and all that stuff.
As you can see, right from the start, you could tell this was going to be tough for the detectives. Kirk, that's DaBaby, wasn't making it easy. He wouldn't even answer simple questions, not even about his name. They told him he had the right to stay quiet, and he was taking that to heart. But here's the twist. He's saying, nah, I don't need a lawyer. And trust me, it's not because he can't afford one. Normally, the smart move in a situation like this is to stay quiet and ask for a lawyer. But Kirk is feeling pretty confident, thinking he can talk his way out of this mess if he's super careful with his words. So here's what Kirk's saying. He's acting like he had nothing to do with the mess outside the club. His story is a bit confusing, but the gist of it is this. His manager was chatting with a guy about performing at a club called Cafe Iguana Pines, but it turned out the money they were offering was stolen, and the guy was acting shady. Instead of taking the deal and causing a fuss, Kirk just told them to get their act together and left without any argument. Now, this doesn't explain the fight outside that we all saw on camera, but since the video's not crystal clear, and there are no witnesses around to say who did what, as long as Kirk sticks to his story, he might just be okay.
Common sense. It's common sense. You know what I made to even be down here? A promoter booked me at that hotel. I didn't pay to be at the hotel. I was paid for. You'd have let me on my room, you would have saw close to $250,000 cash, legally, hard-earned money. I don't got to take nothing from nobody, bro.
Well, let me ask you this.
I will go outside here right now and throw $10,000 in the air. Like, I do not care about no money. I don't, bro.
Was there an argument?
No, it was an argument. I didn't argue with a soul. My voice was never raised. There was never aggressive language from me. None of that.
Was there a fight?
None of that. No, I ain't seen no fight.
Now, at first glance, it might seem like Kirk is just showing off his rapper money. But believe it or not, it's actually a pretty smart move in this situation. He's making a good point. If he's throwing around $30,000 deals on a regular weekday and spending loads of cash every month, why would he need just $80 and an iPhone from some shady deal? From Kirk's side, he wants to distance himself as much as possible from this whole mess. He's saying he had nothing to do with it. He wasn't even close to the crime scene, and he can explain where he was at that time. But from the detective's perspective, a crime happened, and Kirk's car was right there when it went down. So they're trying to get the information they need to build a story that Kirk can't argue with, and maybe even get him to admit what happened.
When I walked in my hotel, robbery, I had every answer to the question you needed right there. Whoa, that ain't it. That's false. Throw that out the window. We talking about robbery, bro. It's nothing for me to talk about. I didn't rob.
So do you think that we just woke up this morning and decided to just...
I think y'all got a phone call from somebody that's already a liar. I know they're a liar. Got a phone call from somebody that's a liar and y'all bought it. Y'all believed it. Y'all got me in here and y'all put me in handcuffs. Brought me outside the hotel in handcuffs, cameras and shit all on me. Come on, bro. This shit is bad for what I got going on. And I ain't even do shit to that, man.
Even without a lawyer, DaBaby knew what he was doing during his police interrogation. He had the upper hand and wanted to keep it that way. The cops were trying to link him to a crime, but he redirected the conversation, making it tough for them to get what they needed. It's interesting that he didn't ask for a lawyer, as most of the time, having a lawyer won't hurt your case. However, DaBaby was clearly in control. In most cases, when the cops question you instead of immediately charging you, it means they lack enough evidence to convict you. They're often just trying to get you to confess. If they can't prove your guilt and you believe you're innocent, staying silent and asking for a lawyer is usually the smart move, especially if you're innocent. The cops soon realized they weren't getting anywhere with Kirk. He told his side of the story and made it clear it wasn't changing. So, they left the room for a bit, which can make a suspect anxious. But Kirk? He just closed his eyes and took a nap. He didn't seem to care. When the detective returned, it was about Kirk's stuff left in his hotel room. Even though he wasn't convicted yet, he was the prime suspect. He'd spend some time in jail while they gathered evidence. But Kirk refused to let them touch his belongings and left it to the hotel. He was potentially facing a hefty prison sentence and fines, plus battery charges if they had evidence. However, they couldn't get any proof from Kirk or the blocked security footage, which was the only evidence that the crime even happened. After 48 hours in jail, DaBaby was set free, and a couple of months later, all charges against him were dropped, and he remained a free man. Now, what do you think about Kirk's approach during this interrogation? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more.